You bet not lie to me. You're already in trouble, but if you lie to me, it's gonna go double bad on you. Said by those who started our young lives off, telling us the same lies that they were told as children. Welcome back to The Hidden Thought.
Releasing one from the prison of their own mind. Come in, unwind. Welcome to The Hidden Thought.
Today, we will go over FLASHPOINTS, the reasons why we lie. Welcome back to The Hidden Thought. Unless you're an old soul who's been here far, far too many times. As a young and innocent child, every word that comes out of your parents' mouth is law. You don't even think to question what mom and dad says. Mom and dad is our first example of a God. We never question them, not right out the gate. Before we grow to understand human error, everything mom and dad does, well, it has to be the right way. That must be the perfect way to do a thing. So when mom and dad tells us that something's going to happen for us if we do a certain thing, well, we're going to do that certain thing because we want the reward, even if it's a fairy tale. Oftentimes, our parents urge us towards good behavior with fairy tales. Why would our parents use a fairy tale? Because it perks our imagination. And if they can get us to buy into it as an incentive to good behavior, well, no harm, no foul, right? If you're a child and you know that receiving a gift, dessert, a treat, a reward is tied to your good behavior, you're probably going to do what mom and dad said. Why am I talking about this? Because we all start our lives off as children, and we live our lives off the building blocks that our parents give us. Our parents are our first semblance of a God. What our parents say becomes law. It took me until I was around 18 years old to stop wondering if maybe watermelon roots were going to grow in my stomach from the watermelon seeds that I swallowed by accident, because my grandmother told me not to swallow the watermelon seeds or else, maybe a bush or something would grow in my stomach. That's just how much faith you have in your parents' word. What was I going to do? Call my grandmother a lie? We dare not. Not in that day, and not at any other age. There are some of us who have their own mind early out the gate as children. Many of us, we live on our parents' word. Many of us can probably remember the day we realized, or the time we got clue that Santa Claus wasn't real. Some of us were able to brush it right off. Others of us, we were really kind of thrown back by it. Again, our parents told us this. We trust that our parents are telling us the absolute truth. The absolute truth. And now we've discovered that Santa Claus didn't bring those gifts. That it was actually mom and dad. Well, okay. So what do we do with Santa Claus now? Santa Claus was fun. You mean to tell me that it was you that put the money under my pillow for all of those teeth? Man, I was hoping I could wake up in the middle of the night and meet the tooth fairy. You want to meet who's bringing you money, right? And so now what you realize is mom and dad are capable of telling you an untruth. Now, they've been telling you to tell the truth, but they just told you an untruth. Oh, K.E., that's for everybody. Everybody teaches their kids nursery rhymes and fairy tales and all of that stuff. It is true. But look at what happens afterwards. The people that we thought were flawless, our first semblances of God, who told us not to lie to them, to always tell the truth and to be a good kid. And we've done that only to find out that they've told us an untruth. So now, what happens in the child's mind is, well, I guess all lies are not bad. Not all lies can be bad. Mom and dad, they told me a lie. So there has to be good lies and bad lies. So we begin to try to hash out in our minds, what is a good lie and what is a bad lie? What does a good and bad lie consist of? What hones it all in is that we happen to live in a structured environment. We live in societies that have rules and regulations, rewards and punishments, and we know it to be true. We see mom and dad walk by those. And so, whatever questions we might have in the back of our mind as children, we learn to walk the line. We learn through trial and error what are good lies and what are bad lies to tell. I was raised in a time where a child was raised to know their place. You simply did not butt in, or join adult conversations when adults were speaking directly to each other. You were taught to respect your elders, not just because they were older, but because they had lived more life than you. And they simply had seen things that you were nowhere close to experiencing yet. All adults were responsible for the children that were within their surroundings. If a parent wasn't available, every adult expected the adult in charge or the adult that was simply in the vicinity to be a protective, shield over the children's activity. When I was a child, other adults were given the right to punish you if they caught you doing something where you might need immediate correction, not just because. If your parents were not around, whatever adult was in your immediate environment was responsible to feed you even. They were responsible for your well-being. No child dare call an adult a liar. Children were advised to wait their turn. You'll be grown soon enough, and it will be your turn to pay your own bills. And at that time, no one owes you a favor. No one owes you a rescue. So be a child while you have an opportunity to be a child. Because once you're an adult, there will be no going backwards. Our parents and all other elders were responsible for a child's well-being. Therefore, when an adult spoke, you took everything they said to heart.
This is Heston Cleveland
and Ricardo Love.
And this is the Indie Hookup.
The Indie Hookup.
Hook me up, baby.
We got the hookup for you. For show now. The hookup on playlist. The hookup on radio. The hookup on internet radio. The hookup on interview. The hookup on college radio. The hookup on information you need. The Indie
Hookup.
Black Nova's in the building, bringing you some healing, trying to make sense of what you're feeling. Got the industry shook up. Thank you for playing our links right here on the Indie Hookup. The Indie Hookup, what a brilliant idea, created by Heston Cleveland and Ricardo Love, giving unsigned independent artists a place to shine. Stay tuned to the Indie Hookup. Guarantee you're gonna hear some of the best artists that you never ever heard of, except for here in this space. Thank you again for playing Black Nova. Black Nova, Black Love. You need a friend? Katie's got your back again. 'Cause I see the shine in you. Showtime, it's your time. It's easy to congratulate, but let hate hate. You're gonna let someone else have your due when you're bad as hell, but oh well, nobody ever gets to see it but you. Man, these people will blow out your candles and take the first slice of your birthday cake. If you let them. If you don't like how that sounds, well go down and go get them. Take a run and start a new relationship. This is not the time to be shy. Go on and take flight. Cause they're gonna hate anyway. Ignore what they say. A hater's job is to hate. As long as you ain't hurting no one else, you got the right to play. Just do unto others as you would have them do unto you. But just in case they miss the memo, to thine own self be true. Take a run and start and get going. This is not the time to be shy. Never dumb yourself down. Get your plans off the ground and fly. Go on and take flight. This is not the time to be shy. Pull her up by the hand and fly. You're much better than you ever believed, so accept the day. It's too short, so why should you care? When your heart's as light as a feather, you're up in the air. Take a run and start and take flight. This is not the time to be shy. Never let them signal you down, man. It's so much better up high, lady. This is not the time to be shy. Never let them dumb you down. Get your things off the ground. Alright, relax. Just act like you're home alone in front of the mirror. Yeah, look at you. You are now listening to The Hidden Thought, courtesy of Just Chat with Bree on KYBN Radio.
So then, hanging on our parents' every word, you could see how a child could be conflicted once they find out that their parents have told them an elongated untruth. My wife's son Ty, when he was a little kid, he put two and two together and he figured out that Santa Claus wasn't real. He recognized that his mom and his dad, they were supplying him with the gifts. He just kind of like figured it out. It's not so much that he caught them in the act. He just put two and two together and he figured it out. And so when he went to school, all the kids, of course, around Christmas time were talking about Santa Claus. And he, in his honesty, just told his little classmates that Santa wasn't real. And boy, did he get in trouble for that. All of the parents, the teachers first, and then the parents, when their children came home, with the news that Santa Claus wasn't real. Well, the school contacted my wife and got at her. Why did you tell your kid? I didn't tell my kid that Santa Claus wasn't real. He figured it out for himself. So, in essence, what the parents and the teachers wanted my wife to do was to teach her kid basically how to maintain a lie for the good of all the kids being able to believe in this lie. And this ain't the worst lie that anybody ever told. But as we look into the future, we could see how maybe it was. When you start considering the men who have gone to jail, prison even, over trying to get their children gifts for Christmas when their pockets were low, wouldn't they much rather have had their father at home to receive a gift from him on a later date when things were better? Or was it that important that we had the Christmas gift now? That's what maintaining the lie could produce. But when you're just thinking about children and everybody's mother and father has a job and everybody's mother and father has income, no harm, no foul. Right? But now the question is begged. Why is it so important? Why is it so important to most parents that they feed their children lies out the gate? Fairy tales, untruths, myths. Is it that as adults, our imaginations are really not that creative to where we can take truths and make fairy tales of truths for our children so that they don't grow up to become, an unintentional liar? Or is it just that we don't want to break traditions? Because when you break a tradition and you're around the rest of the family or friends, now you're the oddball. So now you're the oddball. Your children are going to be the oddball. Nobody's going to want you around, right? Is this the reason why we maintain lies? I would like you to consider this. Maybe deep in the parents' mind, they don't want to teach their children the truth about many things because they don't want their children to become rebels. Those who see the source of their anguish and are ready to go against systems in order to make things the right way so that everybody can tell the truth. Maybe it's that parents don't want their children learning that which will require them to make change in front of their children so that they can start and lead a new path. If a parent is not ready to change, they don't want their children to be too smart. And it could be simply that a lot of parents are afraid of their children being wiser than them. We've all heard that Bible passage, that the future generations will become, bigger and wickeder and wiser and all of these things. We've all heard the notion that each generation is supposed to progress. It's supposed to be a progression off of the last generation. The children are supposed to be smarter than the parents and grandparents. This is what is expected, that our future generations would advance. Now, we say this with our mouths, but I don't really think that that's what many of us actually really want. I don't think we see our children sometimes as a progression of us. If we saw our children truly as ourselves, we would really want the best for our children. But maybe secretly somewhere deep inside, a parent feels in competition with their child when their child is advancing past levels of intellect that either the parent has not achieved or the parent knows and fears being surpassed. Just something to think about. Because we really would have to figure out why a knowing parent would start their children off with the same lies that were told to them as children. That's not a progression of the generation. It's just a tradition. So now your child has to dig his way out from under these covers of lies to get to the truth, to begin to try to apply the truth to their lives. And then they encounter the TMI people. A moment to contemplate your hidden thought.
Just run around yourself. Run to hell with me in this song. All for self, and that's the side that you're on. What's love? Can't hold you to anything. Never volunteer, but want the crown, the title, and the ring. Scared of nothing but a mirror. You slight others So you run around fooling yourself. You just run around fooling yourself. You just run around yourself. Right or wrong, to hell with me in this song. All for self, and that's the side that you're on. What's love?
Oh, fragile mind, shaped of prior pain. Your fear is that by giving, you'll lose something that you can never regain. Pray that the mess you leave for someone else be not a meal you've prepared to feed yourself.
So you run around fooling yourself. You just run around fooling yourself. You just run around yourself. Right or wrong, to hell with me in this song. All for self, and that's the side that you're on. What's love? You run around fooling yourself. You just run around fooling yourself. You just run around yourself. All for self, and that's the side that you're on. What's love?
The Black Nova Experience brings to you Snakes and Snails.
Have you ever wondered what makes the male mind tick? Ever wondered what makes boys do the things that we do? If so, allow Snakes and Snails to return you to your childhood where the answers to such mysteries lie. Through Snakes and Snails, the reader receives an insight into the male mind, a glimmer of thinking previously hidden from themselves in efforts to arrive at manhood with their emotions intact. For the male reader, Snakes and Snails offers a second look at one's motivations. For the female reader, Snakes and Snails is a hidden treasure that is sure to be a useful tool in establishing the relationship desired, and a major help in being a better mom to her boy child. Snakes and Snails is the first of K.E. Durham's One Male's Perspective, a narrative that allows the reader to partake in an honesty about men that has never before been shared. Immerse yourself in Snakes and Snails,
A view into the male mind from A to Z.
Available now on Amazon, Kindle, and Ingram Spark. Once you pick it up, you won't be able to put it down.
It's time to return to that special place where we reveal the mask behind your face.
The hidden thought.
The hidden thought. Oh boy. The TMI people. The secretive, sensitive TMI people. The too much information people. Oh, you could have kept that to yourself. I thought we were having a conversation. Matter of fact, you brought up the subject. We were going back and forth, sharing, ideas and knowledge and experiences until we got to something that you were a little bit uncomfortable about. And then in the midst of all of this conversation, you didn't need to tell me all that, bro. Okay, so now I have to figure out what I can tell you. Because you swore that you were real. You're the realist. You got an opinion about everything. I hear you. I listen. And it's cool that you have an opinion about so many things. But boy, you put the brakes on somewhere in the midst of a conversation. And it happens often enough for me to know that maybe you're not as real as you would like to believe you are. Because the whole truth makes you uncomfortable. You know what I don't appreciate about the TMI people? TMI people, the too much information people, make liars out of other people. Because we have to protect the TMI people's feelings. We don't know what we can actually share with the TMI people. We don't know where their breaking point are. What we eventually do is we say, oh, that's him, that's her. Okay, Let them talk so that they can feel intelligent and get all their ideas out. And then we'll feed them baby food, something that they can handle, so that they can walk away feeling, intellectually in depth. Now, that's fine until you're dealing, with a process, until it requires you to give all the data. At that point, you may lose a friend. Or that friend might toughen up. See, the TMI people, they can make the adjustment when they're given nowhere to run. When they're made to face the facts. Some of them toughen up. Others of them run off. The killing part is that they really believe that they're really that emotionally and intellectually tough. While they make liars of other people. Now, of course, you're going to have others that say, "No, man, nobody can't make no liar out of you. That's something you decide to do." There are some of us that like to believe that every man and woman is an island unto themselves. They really want to believe that everything that they witness a person doing, they're doing of their own account. I will tell you this. You can take it with you, chew on it, digest it, think about it. The only people who tell the absolute truth are those who can afford to tell you the absolute truth. If the truth is tied to your financial situation and you have no other alternatives, let's see how truthful you are with a TMI person. The truth will really set you free and out into the streets or unemployed without, a friend in the world. That's what the absolute truth can get you dealing with the TMI person. If you have a backup, if you have alternate plans, you can tell the truth all day. If you don't fear losing the person that you're talking to, the truth is easy to tell. But when you could potentially lose someone or something that you really don't feel like you can afford to lose, the truth just might have to take the back seat. And that is the truth. A moment to contemplate. Your hidden thought. Welcome to the Hidden Thought. Come with me on a deep dive into the reasons behind our motivations. The Hidden Thought is not a place for debating, for there's nothing to debate, and devil's advocates are not welcomed here. For your precious time, I simply offer my unique and different point of view that in my humble analysis, we may find the reasons why we do the things that we do. All based upon the concept that no one wants to be the lesser representation of self. In these series of introspections, the purpose is that we solve the mysteries that have kept us from getting on to the better parts of our walk. A moment to contemplate your hidden thought.
The Black Nova experience puts you.
Believe it or not, there are men who actually give up.
Give up on what?
you might ask, give up on a pursuit of women?
Man, how could men give up on women when they are so attractive that they are often secretly, deeply attracted to other women?
True.
How then could a man ever give up his pursuit?
Up on the Down Low gives its readers a view into secrets surrounding taboos attached to male sexuality that many have taken to their graves. For years, I've heard women rant about brothers on the down low, brothers on the down low.
On the down.
With the HIV epidemic reported to run rampant through the black community, and with AIDS being etched into our minds initially as a homosexual disease, I can understand the scare. If brothers on the down low are a great source of spreading HIV, the greater concern might be, what would make brothers who find themselves on the down low risk their lives, potentially endangering their girlfriends and wives? Up on the Down Low goes where few have gone to reveal the reasons why some risk it all.
A view into the male mind from A to Z.
Available December 1st on Amazon, Kindle, and Ingram Spark. Once you pick it up, you won't be able to put it down.
Love to make you laugh. See. Tell me your secrets, there's no aftermath. What I do for you, others never did half. You look more happy with me in our photographs. Should be obvious I've come to wash away the stains. Never had love this easy, I understand your pain. Time to open your eyes, don't sabotage this thing. On the flip side of me, you're really gonna feel the rain. Be my forevermore. To be all that you need is what I'm living for. And if you fall, I'll never let you touch the floor. You're more than safe with me, can you see? I'm your forevermore. Everywhere I am, it's like our love's on tour. Believe me, you need me for sure. I'm trying to save you wasted time, baby, please. Cause you're gonna come looking for me. Trying to save you from yourself, baby. You keep trying me. What's that? As if I'm the cause of all of your high anxiety. Show me where I've enlisted your serenity. You won't be satisfied until you make me leave. You think you have drama now. You remember who I really am. You're pulling on the next man's arm to find out he just don't give a damn. You've been running in the forest while looking for a tree. But guess who I just met? Someone who cares for you evermore. Oh yeah, I need is what she's living for. And all the stress I had with you, I never feel no more. I'm more than safe with she, can't you see? I'm her forevermore. She sees in me what you never saw before. She never doubts me even when I'm on the opposite
kiss for his fist. Maybe the pain makes you feel alive. Bet your bottom dollar that the way makes you holler ain't natural, babe. But you ain't ready for me. My love is drama free. Hey, maybe just what you need. Everything you're doing now is not natural, babe. But you ain't ready for me. My love is drama free. Hey, maybe just what you need. Trying to convince me you're talking about something. Believe you, I tried, but you won't even look me eye to eye. Scared of what you might feel. You wanna have something, you gotta be real. But if you ain't ready, honesty kills. Can't take the better parts of me and puppet me on the fakeness. Call me in 10 years when you shed all your tears. Tell me you're sorry, I'm such a nice guy. Your head wasn't on straight, but now you're ready to try. Like I'm still the same with all the time that's passed by. You've run out of options, ain't nothing poppin'. So sure that I'm yours, caught up your spell, I've been free. Still so self-consumed that I'm convinced that indeed, baby, he may be just what you need. The way that you holler ain't natural, babe, but you ain't ready for me. My love is drama-free. He may be just what you need. Everything you're doing now is not natural, babe, but you ain't ready for me. My love is drama-free. He may be just what you need. But your bottom dollar that the way that you holler ain't natural, babe, but you ain't ready for me. My love is drama-free. Hey, maybe just what you need. Everything you're doing now is not natural, baby, but you ain't ready for me. My love is drama-free. But hey, maybe just what you need.
Over here, there's a safe place for your hidden thought.
Don't you just love it when you hear a TMI person say, man, you can tell me anything, man. You know, if you can't talk to nobody else, you can talk to me. And so you do. And some TMI people, they're advanced. You really can talk about quite a number of things with some TMI people. Until you get to that one subject that they're sensitive about. Then they're like, oh, man, I didn't know you thought like that about that. Well, yeah, because, you know, you saw A and B, you know, that was adding up, and 2 + 2 was adding up. You didn't see how I could, yeah, I mean, I saw it, but I didn't think you thought like that. Yeah, man, you know. And then all of a sudden, the connection you thought you had, you don't have anymore, and they're backing off. This is after you've drawn a deep connection. That is very disappointing. Because what usually happens at that point is not just that you have a difference of opinion and go separate ways. What happens right before that is, man, hey, man, everything else you was talking about, that was cool. But that part right there, man, that ain't cool, bro. That's not cool. That's not cool at all. Now, this is from the person that told you could tell them everything. But they just flashed on you. Out of the blue. Your stomach might even start to churn and turn a little bit because the things you would have never told anybody else, you told them. Now you're wondering, is this something that they just gonna say, hey, you know, me and this person, we're more different than I thought we were, and they gonna have to go on to their life, and I'm gonna go on to mine and everything, and I ain't mentioning this to nobody because the person is really kind of cool, and I don't want to ruin their reputation. I don't want to have nobody else looking at them crossways. It's just that this thing, you know, that we disagree on, we gotta part ways on this. If that's all that happens, great. But if the person can't stop talking about that different thing, that one point that was different, if they can't stop talking about it, they can't stop talking about it. Now you feel like you've really made a mistake. What do you learn after that? Because so many of us have had this experience. What you learn after that is to start feeding people baby food. To feed a person a teaspoon at a time. A teaspoon at a time to see how they digest what you're saying. Matter of fact, after that flashpoint encounter, many people never regain their faith that they can tell anybody everything. When there actually are people out there that they absolutely can tell everything. They just hadn't met them yet. And everybody has the desire to let everything that they're thinking and feeling out. Everybody would like an outlet. But after that flashpoint encounter, what you learn is that there may be nobody, even though there really is. But you feel like there may be nobody. And so you feed people a teaspoon at a time. And that's what people consider wise. Now here's where the problem comes. You've met somebody that you're really interested in. Matter of fact, you have a feeling that this person really gets it. But your encounters with the TMI people have left you shell-shocked. So now, again, you're feeding this person a spoonful, when actually this might have been the person to give the whole tablespoon. Give them the whole cup, the whole bowl. But because of your encounter with the TMI people, now when you should be going fast forward, you're actually not. So you develop this relationship. It's long term now. And you get a year and a half, 2.5 years in before you realize that you have irreconcilable differences. Something that you could have discovered out the gate if we hadn't been feeding each other this teaspoon at a time. Too much of the truth led to someone flashing on you. So now you withhold the truth when you should be given the truth. And now you've got this long relationship where you found out you have these irreconcilable differences. And now the other person feel like you lied to them. You lied to them. You led them on and all of this stuff. But it's not really your fault. Everybody have to be accountable for. Hey man, look. When you can afford to tell the truth, when you have nothing to lose by telling the truth, we tell the truth. When there's something to lose, you really have to consider what you're going to tell people. In order for you to receive the truth, first of all, you have to make a pathway for people to bring you the truth. You can make a pathway for people to bring you the truth, but that don't mean that you have the clearance to give them the truth. You see, we'd all like to imagine ourselves as principled people who tell the truth come hell or high water. And that's simply not the truth. We all have been placed in a situation with certain individuals where we have to tell them a little less than the truth to make a situation digestible, easier, more soothing for them to accept. And so it is true. TMI people can make liars out of people whose intent was never to lie. But whenever we're talking about a subject like this, no matter who you're talking to, it's not them. You know, the problem with TMI people is that TMI people, they have children like all of us. And if they are not capable of accepting the whole truth without falling to pieces, do you think that they would teach their children the whole truth? No. Their children will get the portion of the truth that they were able to handle, which may not be much. So they must have fairy tales and anything that keeps them and their children from having to deal with the whole truth. And that creates a psychosis of people who really think they're really functionable, whole people who can really deal with the reality of life and really cannot. And they become your bosses. Sometimes they become your mate, friendships, organization members, and you're in a situation where you're finding out that you're dealing with someone over something that is absolutely needed for you both, whom you cannot tell the whole truth. For more on the things that make us tick, the reasons why we do what we do, I beg of you to indulge in Snakes and Snails and my forthcoming book, Up on the Down Low, where for once we're going to get into the truth of quite a number of matters, unlike you've been able to experience in any other place. We are all energy. Thank you for allowing me to connect to yours.
Today's show has been brought to you by the Black Nova Experience, Qualified to Love, Odie's signing service, and Your Life Back. Wouldn't you like to have your life back? Come again, because we're going in. Thank you for allowing me to bring to the surface your hidden thoughts.